In this sacred hour, Saint Michael the Archangel draws near. He comes with his flaming sword, lifted high, ready to intercede in the most urgent battle of your life. He does not delay, for he recognizes the cry that rises from your heart, a silent yet desperate plea for help. Your soul has been heard, heaven listens closely, and the Prince of the heavenly armies has already descended to stand at your side. Here, within this prayer channel, we place our trust in the power of God and in the guardianship of His holy archangels. Here, every petition is taken seriously, every prayer is offered in truth, and every spiritual battle is faced with faith and courage. Today, we join our hearts in a single voice of prayer, asking for the immediate intervention of Saint Michael in the situation that you can no longer resolve alone. Breathe deeply. Let silence embrace the noise around you. Offer now your most urgent cause into the hands of heaven. Saint Michael, the Archangel, defender of the sons and daughters of God, I stand before you with a heart burdened by afflictions that I no longer know how to bear. I have sought every human way to find an answer for my troubles, yet all my efforts have reached their end. Now I understand that only an answer from heaven can truly transform what I am living through. Therefore, I turn to you with sincere faith. Let your powerful sword open the paths that have closed before me. You know every circumstance that surrounds my days. Nothing is hidden from your sight. You have seen the sleepless nights, the tormented thoughts, and the moments when hope almost faded away. Saint Michael, I do not come to ask for something small. I cry out for a miracle, not because of any merit, but because of pure mercy. Let your intervention change completely the course of what has seemed impossible. Break the invisible chains that bind me. Unlock the doors that still resist, and let the flame of your light guide me safely toward the victory prepared by heaven. Saint Michael the Archangel, you see the weight that I carry, and the longing that I can no longer contain. I have tried all human ways to fix what afflicts me, but none have brought peace. So I come before you and surrender, believing that only a response from heaven can transform this struggle into blessing. If there are forces of darkness trying to delay my plans, cut now these bindings with your flaming sword. If there are obstacles that insist on remaining in my way, undo them one by one through your heavenly authority. May everything that stands against the will of God for my life be removed immediately. Let your holy presence change the atmosphere around me. Carry away every influence that has fed chaos, stagnation, or pain. Saint Michael, warrior of the Most High, you who have power to confront unseen enemies that dwell in the shadows, enter now this situation I bring before you. It may be something I cannot even express in words, yet you understand the tears that never fell, the fears I never confessed, and the cries that only heaven has heard. Because of that, I trust completely that you are already here, walking ahead of my cause, preparing the way before my steps. Guard also my thoughts, which so often become confused in hardship. Let no doubt find space in my mind, and let no anguish hold power over me. Illuminate my decision, strengthen my faith, and give me clarity to move forward, even when the path seems covered in darkness. Let your light shine brighter than every shadow. And if the miracle I need touches my finances, open now the windows of heaven and send divine provision. If it involves health, touch the illness with your fiery sword and turn pain into healing. If it concerns relationships, reconciliation, or emotional freedom, intercede with wisdom, so that understanding, forgiveness, and restoration may come. whatever the area may be. Act with your holy power, for I believe no request is too great when it is made with faith. Saint Michael the Archangel, cover my home with your protection. Let no contrary force remain within it. If there are negative words spoken against me or my family, dissolve each one now. If envy, hatred, or injustice has been aimed at me, raise your shield and block every arrow before it reaches my life. May no evil prosper where your holy presence abides. And even if everything seems delayed, even when the miracle does not appear at once, sustain my heart with hope. Teach me to wait with trust. Teach me to continue praying, even on the days when I see no sign. Show me how to rest in peace, certain that you have already taken this battle into your hands, and that every answer will arrive at the perfect time, in the most surprising and divine way. Saint Michael, strengthen also my spirit, so that I may not lose myself in this waiting. Let the pressures, deadlines, and urgencies of the world never extinguish my faith. Let no word of discouragement from outside penetrate my soul. Let my trust be rooted, not in circumstances, but in you, faithful in every promise, and infallible in every action. Sometimes, everything around me seems to shout that there is no solution, but your presence silences all noise. You bring peace where there was affliction, clarity where confusion once ruled. Therefore, I ask you to remain by my side, opening paths, untangling what was bound, and guiding each detail of my life, so that the miracle may unfold fully, visibly, and definitively. You are the commander of heavenly battles. Camp your angels around me. Let every step I take be protected, every word I speak be guided, and every opportunity discerned with wisdom. Let nothing distract me from my purpose, nothing steal my strength, nothing blocks the flowing grace of God over my life. If spiritual resistances appear on the way, act with your invincible power. Dissolve the enemy's snares, confound the plans of darkness, and restore within me everything that was once stolen. Let my name, my story, my family, and my work be sealed under your guard. From this day on, may I walk in certainty that heaven has already moved, that this prayer has been heard, that the answer is on its way, and that the miracle has already begun. Saint Michael the Archangel, you know the invisible background of my struggle. You know how long I have fought, how long I have waited, and how many times I have cried for an answer. Even in this waiting, I refuse to surrender to discouragement, for your presence assures me that I am not alone. It is you who fight for me. In places my feet cannot reach, it is you who defend me. From unseen attacks, from silent fears, and from temptations that draw near in the dark. In silence, I once again place before you every detail of this cause, everything that seems stagnant, everything I have tried and failed, and all the doors that have not yet opened. I entrust them to your hands, Archangel of the Most High. If there is something I need to see more clearly, reveal it to me. If there is a direction I must take, show it to me with perfect light. Let no distraction pull me away from the center of God's will. At this moment, I beg you with deep fervor, undo the knots tied by negative words, by judgment, by malediction, or by thoughts of failure. May every energy raised against my blessing be dissolved before your light. If envy, jealousy, or resentment has entered my path, let it lose its power right now. Let nothing hold authority over me except the sovereign will of God. And if the miracle I wait for depends on the change of another's heart, visit that person now. Saint Michael, May your sword of light touch where no human argument could reach, convince where no words could persuade. Let transformation begin from within, and let peace be established where there was once resistance. If the obstacles are spiritual, fight for me with all the power entrusted to you. If hidden influences or silent pacts try to hold me captive, cut them now with your fire. Even if I suffer retaliation for the steps of faith I have taken, cover me with your shield of protection. Let no action of the enemy prevail over my life. Let every attack become testimony, and every trial becomes glory. In this sacred moment, I invite the presence of Saint Michael. Let your light surround my soul. Let your sword be raised, not as a threat, but as a sign of liberation. Let your flame enter my home, my work, my mind. What was closed, let it open. What was dark, let it shine. This is not imagination. This is faith. This is the miracle beginning to reveal itself. Saint Michael, the Archangel, strengthen my faith now, for within me there may still remain traces of fear or hesitation. Remove them with your holy power. Let me never doubt the promise already released from heaven. Let me not be guided by outward signs, but remain firm in the unseen that is about to become visible. Teach me to persevere when everything tells me to stop. Teach me to trust, even when silence fills the air. Guard also the people who walk beside me. If someone carries this burden with me, bless their life as well. Let no one who intercedes at my side grow weary before the time of victory. Let this cause, which I long to see resolved, become a blessing not only for me, but for all who are connected to me. May this miracle be a living testimony of your glorious work, Saint Michael. And if this miracle touches other parts of my life, even those I have not mentioned in prayer, let everything be welcomed. I do not limit your action, Archangel of the Lord. I know that you work broadly, wisely, and perfectly. Therefore, I let heaven decide the details. I simply trust and surrender. In this spirit of faith, I ask all who join this prayer to open their hearts. Feel the presence of Saint Michael around you. See his sword ready, not as a sign of fear, but as a symbol of deliverance. Let his light reach every corner of your home, your thoughts, your soul. What once seemed blocked now begins to open. What once was darkness now begins to shine. It is not imagination. It is faith alive within us. It is the miracle of beginning to move. Saint Michael, renew my strength. If there is weariness in my heart, replace it with courage. If sadness hides within me, fill it with holy peace. If I have grown impatient, teach me again the calm of trust. Let my waiting become a fertile time, a time that builds rather than breaks, that deepens rather than destroys. Let me be transformed while I wait for heaven's answer. Let the silence become sanctuary, and the waiting becomes prayer. Make my faith steadfast, my patience enduring, and my hope is untouchable. For even before I see the miracle fulfilled, I know your light is working in the unseen, turning every impossibility into the promise of victory. Saint Michael the Archangel, before your radiant presence, I bring once more every detail of this cause that burdens my soul, everything that seems immovable, everything that I have already tried and could not change. I now surrender to the power of heaven. If there is anything I must see with greater clarity, reveal it to me. If there is a direction I must take, show it to me with precision. Let no distraction pull me away from the center of God's will. At this moment, I implore you with fervor, untie the knots that were formed by negative words, by judgments, by curses, or thoughts of failure. Let all energy launched against my blessing be dissolved before your divine light. If envy, jealousy, or any contrary feeling has found a way into my story, directly or indirectly, let it lose its power now. Let nothing hold authority over me, except the sovereign will of God. And if the miracle I hope for depends upon the change of another's heart, visit that person right now. Saint Michael, may your sword of light reach their inner being, touching where no human argument could reach, convincing where no words could persuade. Let the transformation come from within, and let peace be established where once there was resistance. If the obstacles are spiritual, fight for me with the strength entrusted to you. If hidden influences, doubts, or silent agreements keep me bound in limitation, cut them now with your heavenly flame. Even if I am facing retaliation for steps of faith already taken, cover me with your shield of protection. Let no action of the enemy prevail against my life. Let each attack be turned into testimony, and every trial become glory to God. Saint Michael, defend my soul from confusion and fatigue. Let your light dispel all shadows. Let your voice silence every lie that tries to weaken my faith. Grant me discernment to choose wisely, and strength to walk faithfully. Let your fire cleanse every trace of fear, guilt, or despair. I believe that the victory you prepare is already unfolding in secret. I believe that heaven has moved in ways my eyes cannot yet perceive. And while I wait for the miracle to manifest, keep my spirit steadfast in peace, my heart anchored in faith, and my voice firm in praise. Saint Michael the Archangel, if the miracle I seek depends on another heart, reach that person now with your light. Touch the depths no human reasoning can touch. Convince where no word has succeeded. Let the change begin from within, so that peace may dwell where conflict once reigned. If the barriers before me are spiritual, rise up and fight for me with all the power that heaven has given you. If hidden influences or secret fears still surround my path, cut them now with your fiery sword. And if I am suffering retaliation for steps of faith I have taken, shield me with your armor of protection. Let no dark actions succeed. Let every attack be turned into testimony, and every trial transformed into glory. In this moment, I invite every soul praying with me to open their heart. Feel the nearness of Saint Michael. See his sword raised high, not as threat, but as the symbol of freedom. Let his light fill the rooms of your home, your workplace, and your mind. What once was blocked now opens. What once was dark now shines. This is not imagination. This is faith awakening. This is the miracle beginning to manifest. Saint Michael, strengthen my faith again. If there is within me any trace of fear or hesitation, remove it with your holy fire. Let me not doubt the promise already spoken by heaven. Let me not depend on outward signs, but stand firm in the invisible that soon will be revealed. Teach me to persevere when all seems silent. Teach me to trust when my strength feels small. Guard those who walk beside me in prayer. If someone carries this burden with me, bless them also, O Lord. Let none who intercede grow tired before the appointed hour. Let this cause I hold become blessing for all who are connected to me. Let this miracle be testimony to your mighty work, Saint Michael. And if your intercession reaches other areas of my life, even those I have not spoken aloud, let all be embraced by heaven's will. For I do not limit your action. I simply trust, I simply surrender, and I simply believe. that your light is already restoring what was lost. Saint Michael the Archangel, if this miracle touches other areas of my life, even those I have not mentioned, let all be received with peace. I know that you act widely, wisely, and perfectly. Therefore, I let heaven decide the details, and I remain in faith and surrender. In this spirit of trust, I invite each heart united in this prayer to lift their intention before heaven. May your presence, Saint Michael, fill this moment with peace and confidence. Let every doubt fade before your light. Let every burden be carried by the strength of your heavenly command. If there are knots tied by negative words or fear, untie them now. If curses, envy, or judgment were spoken against us, erase their power completely. Let the purity of God's will prevail over everything concerning our lives. And if the miracle we seek depends on another soul, may your light reach that heart, touching it where human effort could not. May peace replace resistance, and understanding how to restore what was broken. Saint Michael, fight for us in every battle unseen. When we grow tired, renew our strength. When fear whispers, let your courage speak louder. Let your light guard our minds and protect our homes. Let every word we speak carry faith instead of complaint, hope instead of doubt. In this time of waiting, teach us to transform silence into prayer. Teach us to see purpose, even within delay. Let our hearts grow stronger in the unseen, more intimate with heaven, and more anchored in peace. We do not want to live in anxious urgency that steals serenity. We wish to live in expectant confidence, trusting that something great is already on its way. Saint Michael, anoint our spiritual eyes to recognize the signs of heaven. Let us notice the small miracles of each day, while we wait for the greater one we desire. Teach us gratitude before receiving, and faith even before the evidence appears. For we know your intercession is already opening the way. Right now, with faith, the name of the person or the cause for whom you are praying, this chain of faith moves heaven, and Saint Michael is already at work. Right with faith, I place this name and this cause under the light of Saint Michael. Saint Michael, the Archangel, in this sacred hour, I lift my heart to heaven. With all the intensity of my faith, I can already feel your presence, moving through the paths of my life, dispersing darkness, breaking chains, and undoing the bonds that once held me back. You are the one who faces evil with courage and divine power. You are the one who answers our cries with the strength of heaven. And today, in this prayer, born from the soul's urgency, I know that you are moving the invisible structures that surround my reality. How many times have I tried in my own strength, fighting against walls that seemed unbreakable? Now, I understand that victory is not in me, but in you. The miracle does not depend on my ability, but on God's intervention through your hands. Therefore, I surrender this impossible cause, this miracle that my heart longs for, trusting that you, Saint Michael, have already taken this battle as your own. You know the roads I walk, the sleepless nights, the silent prayers offered with tears, and the thoughts whispering that nothing will change, yet your presence proves otherwise. Where you are, despair cannot stay. Where your light shines, darkness must flee. Where your sword touches, chains are broken, walls collapse, and injustice bows before divine justice. At this very moment, Saint Michael, I implore you to continue fighting for me. Let this urgent cause receive your final touch from heaven. If anything still prevents the miracle from manifesting, reveal it to me. If there is an attitude I must transform, show it clearly. I do not want to only receive the blessing. I want to be ready to sustain it. With maturity, with faith, and with gratitude. Let nothing be in vain. Let this miracle bring renewal and growth. And if I must still wait, let this waiting be filled with peace. Let my confidence remain firm, my faith unbroken, and my hope is unshaken. Teach me to wait with a heart, quiet yet alive with expectation. Let me recognize the small signs of your presence, even before the full answer arrives. Do not let anxiety or fear dominate my heart. Keep me steady in faith, certain that heaven is already working in my favor. Right with faith. Saint Michael, the Archangel, is finishing my urgent miracle. Saint Michael the Archangel, I call upon your sword of light to cut through every cycle of failure, every repetition of suffering, and every spiritual pattern that binds me to pain. If there are agreements made in darkness, without my knowledge or consent, let them now be broken by your heavenly authority. If there is any opening in the spiritual realm, used to block my path to fullness, seal it now with your divine light and power. Touch, O glorious Archangel, every person involved in this urgent cause. If anyone has been used to bring confusion, delay, or injustice, reach that person with a breath of truth, with a spark of conscience. Let all malice be turned into blessing, and every hardened heart be softened by compassion. Let every wall become a bridge, for I know that you, Saint Michael, are master at reversing situations, turning adversaries into instruments of peace, transforming what seemed impossible into a living testimony of victory. And if spiritual forces still work against me, I declare with faith and authority, none of them shall succeed, for Saint Michael stands with me. Your sword is unsheathed. I am no longer alone in this battle. You who cast the enemy from heaven will now cast out every presence of darkness, trying to approach my home, my mind, my body, or my soul. Let all that does not belong to light be dispersed in the name of the Most High. Let this prayer not be mere words, but a living seed planted in the soil of faith. Let each phrase carry your divine presence. Let each word become a step toward healing, deliverance, and transformation. Let this be the hour when heaven bends over the earth and responds with fire, with power, with miracle. Saint Michael, I feel your flame opening the way among thorns that once wounded my feet. I see gates unlocking, walls collapsing, and the heavens moving in my favor. I feel my mind illuminated, my heart strengthened, my body restored. This is the hour of victory. This is the time of the miracle. Right with faith. Saint Michael, the Archangel, has completed my urgent miracle. Saint Michael the Archangel, your presence remains among us, embracing our souls with a strength that the world cannot comprehend. In this moment, when many feel the weight of waiting, and the blessing has not yet fully revealed itself, your light stays burning, sustaining faith, renewing strength, preserving the heart from despair. We are not alone. We can feel heaven working, even when all around seems silent. Guide us, Saint Michael, through this path, where faith becomes the only lamp still shining. When the days grow long, when answers seem delayed, when anxiety tries to steal our hope, you are the one who remains beside us. Help us recognize, even in pain, the hand of God shaping our miracle, adjusting everything, so that in His perfect time, what we ask for with tears will come as a glorious answer. How many times have we wanted to give up? How many times has a weary soul wanted to retreat? But you, Michael, lift us at the right moment. You breathe courage when fear comes near. You whisper, do not fear. When the heart trembles, you are the silent warrior who fights for us behind the veil of existence, breaking walls, shattering chains, and untying the invisible cords that held us down. There is a spiritual time unfolding now, a time not measured by clocks, but by trust. While we pray here, your sword moves behind the miracle, arranging details that only heaven could design. That which we asked with urgency, that which seemed impossible, is being prepared with perfection and care. Even without seeing, we choose to believe. Even without touching, we decide to trust. And even without understanding, we surrender. Prince of Light, if there still hide doubts within our hearts, touch those shadows with your clarity. Dispel the fear that whispers, "It will not happen." Silence the voice that says, "I am unworthy." Let every thought that weakens faith bow before your divine authority. Teach us to keep our hearts ready, for the miracle will not delay. It is only aligning with God's perfection. We do not want to live chained to desperate urgency that steals peace. We choose now to live in calm expectation, trusting that something holy is already on the way. Write with confidence. Saint Michael is preparing my miracle with divine perfection. Saint Michael, the Archangel, powerful defender of urgent causes, we have reached the final moment of this prayer, but not the end of our faith. On the contrary, with every word spoken, with every cry lifted to heaven, our souls have been restored, our minds strengthened, and our hearts now beat with courage renewed by grace. You have been with us since the first whisper of supplication, and you remain now, sealing with your light everything placed before God. In humility and truth, we feel that heaven has heard us. We sense that your presence has torn the clouds of doubt and brought clarity where despair once lived. We no longer pray in haste, but in peace. We no longer plead with fear, but with hope. We no longer ask in affliction, but with the certainty that God moves when a heart cries out in faith. Raise your flaming sword now, and seal, with celestial authority, this cause we have entrusted to you. Let everything that was bound be released. Let what seemed impossible begin to unfold. Let every closed door open with the touch of heaven. Let every dark bond be broken, and every harmful influence be cast away forever. You are the warrior of heaven. No opposing force prevails where your presence abides. If tears still rest in the eyes of those who pray, wipe them away with your comfort. If doubts still hide in the heart, disperse them with your light. If wounds remain open, touch them with your sword that does not harm, but heals. Let this prayer not be a fleeting moment of faith, but the beginning of real transformation. As we close this supplication, may we already perceive the first signs of the miracle we have asked for. If someone finishes this prayer, feeling peace before seeing the answer, let them know this is the first miracle. The peace that comes, the faith reborn, the hope rekindled. All these are signs that the answer is already on its way. For when Saint Michael stands before us, even the waiting becomes sacred. Guard our words, our attitudes, and our thoughts, that we may be worthy to receive the blessing for which we pray. Let not anxiety consume us, nor fear steal our faith. Let no fatigue distance us from prayer. Let each new day renew our covenant with heaven. We will not give up. We will remain until we see, until we touch, until we testify that the impossible has become reality. Clothe us now, Michael, with your spiritual armor. Let the enemy find no breach. Les obstacles dissolvent before they form. Let negative words lose their power. Let the spiritual paths remain clean and open, so that nothing may hinder what God has already decreed. And at the end of this prayer, we thank you, for even without seeing, we know you are already in motion, already in the field of battle, already before the throne of the Most High, interceding, protecting, and winning for us. Each name, each cause, each tear has been gathered by you and is now presented before God in fire, faith, and fidelity. Do not depart from us, Saint Michael. Stay near, guard our rest, illuminate our mornings, and walk with us through every step, every decision, every place we go. Let your light shine in our eyes, even on cloudy days. Let your strength resound in our voices, even when they tremble. And if a heart among us feels weary, touch it now with your renewing flame. Lift those who have fallen, raise those who have lost courage. You are not only a protector, you are our companion on the journey. Therefore, with all our hearts, we declare, Saint Michael the Archangel has interceded for my urgent miracle. Share this prayer with love, so that others in need may also find hope, and may the blessing of Saint Michael remain with you now and always. Amen.